The following is the Amherst Central School District 2016-17 budget hearing presentation. We're happy to report that the gap elimination adjustment has been restored. Amherst has lost $8.85 million in the gap elimination adjustment since the inception of it in 2010-2011. The revenue budget consists of the following categories. The property tax levy is based on the tax cap formula. We will not be exceeding the tax cap for 16-17. For the out years 17-18 and 18-19, we are making an assumption of 1 and 2% CPI respectively. Pilots, those are based on current agreements and assessments with the IDA. County sales tax has been reduced as our actual receipts have slowed. This is due to lower gasoline prices and the Canadian exchange rate. Erie County, however, continues to perform better than other counties. Our community ed program, which is our before and after school program, and other athletic opportunities for our children to participate in, is based on past performance. Our interest income remains low. State aid is based on the New York State budget that has been adopted, and again, the gap elimination has been restored. Building aid is also based on the legislative proposal. We are experiencing a one-year increase for 16-17 in this particular category. However, it is anticipated to fall back for 17-18. Other revenues are based on past performance. The following chart shows the breakdown of those categories and the numbers associated with them. Our property tax levy is going to experience a decrease of 0.48%. State aid, you can see it does increase for 1 year in 16-17, and then it'll go back into line. The reason for this is we are having an increase in our transportation expenditures for 15-16, and we do receive transportation aid in the form of state aid. Building aid, again, the 1 year bump up in 16-17. This is due to the new projects that we will be reimbursed for. And then it does fall back in 17-18, and we expect that to continue in 18-19. The other sources of revenue are listed as follows. So overall for 16-17, we are expecting a 7.75% increase in our revenues. And the reason for that is because of the decrease in the property tax levy of 0.48%, which consists of the biggest portion of our revenues, and then state aid going up. This is a pie chart that shows the breakdown of our revenues. You can see the two biggest sources of revenue for Amherst School District is property tax levy and state aid. The expenditure budget consists of the following categories. We have personnel costs. We need to consider our substitute costs, professional development, and staffing needs going forward. There's some new state initiatives coming forward, including minimum wage increase to $12.50 by 2021, as well as the state adopted Family Leave Act that is to be implemented January 1st, 2018. In the benefit area of our budget, that consists of the Employees Retirement System, or ERS. There is expected to be a 15.5% contribution for 16-17, and in our projections, we're keeping that flat for the two later years. TRS, or the Teachers Retirement System, is 11.72%, and we are keeping that consistent as well for the two out years. Health insurance, we are anticipating an 8% increase in that area, while our workers' compensation rate is expected to decrease by 7.29%. General support and instruction, we usually have a 2% increase in those areas traditionally, and we are going to continue our capital outlay grant. We do have tuition increases for some of our out-of-district placements. BOCES has increased due to our participation and small cost structure increase. We do have included in this budget some strategic planning and an innovation lab. Future year projections have been modified also in this area based on our past trends. Transportation, we are going to experience a 1.5% increase on the contract plus our fuel costs. We did reconfigure some 35 passenger bus structures to provide some cost savings going forward. And debt service, we have an increase based on our past and projected borrowings for our capital improvements. That is, though, however, offset by our building aid. The capital outlay grant, which is included in this budget, is for small projects up to $100,000. They are limited to one per year per school district. It does require voter approval of the budget with that amount appropriated. It does require a certified architect, and it is reimbursable at our building aid ratio of 78%. So basically, a $100,000 project after our building aid reimbursement would cost Amherst $22,000. These are the projected expenditures and the numbers associated with those categories. So overall, you can see for 16-17, we're experiencing a 3.77% change in our expenditures from 15-16 to 16-17. And you can see the out years of 17-18 and 18-19. The breakdown of our expenditures is very typical for a school district. Typically about 75% of a budget does consist of personnel and benefits. So for 16-17, we are proposing a budget of $55,650,245. We need to focus on 17-18 and 18-19 and the potential budget gaps. And this is due to the one-year bubble of building aid that we're going to experience in 16-17, as well as our increasing personnel costs going forward for the 2 out years. We do have some personnel savings that we are going to experience. We have some teacher retirement salary breakage and also some central office restructuring. The following chart shows the total expenditure per pupil for Amherst, a similar district to Amherst of average wealth, and the New York State average. So you can see Amherst is $16,469, which is less than the similar district of $20,538, and also New York State average of $21,812 per pupil. The following chart shows the breakdown of our fund balance and reserves. At the beginning of this fiscal year, July 1, 2015, we had just over $8 million in total. For the 15-16 budget, the Amherst Board of Education did appropriate $1.9 million from fund balance and reserves, and that was mainly due to the significant increase we were experiencing in our new transportation contract. In addition, we had some encumbrances that rolled over for outstanding purchase orders of $286,898 to total a designation for 15-16 of $2.2 million. If we utilize all of those funds for 15-16, we could potentially have an ending balance of $5.7 million. Our hope is to contain costs for this current year and not utilize all of those funds to try to maintain our fund balance and reserves as best as possible for going forward. This is our tax history for each year going back to 97-98, and it shows our budget to budget or expenditure increases or changes, as well as the tax levy changes for each of those years. And you can see the average over that span of years for our budget is 2.88%, as our levy change averages 2.37%, while the average CPI over that same period of years was 2.19%. It really shows that the district is very conscientious of what's going on in the economy, and we try to be very efficient in our budgeting. The tax levy versus the tax bill. So you can see 3 different categories of assessments going across from left to right. If you have a property assessed at $100,000, $150,000, or $200,000, based on our current tax rate of $22.65, you can see your tax bill would be anywhere from $2,265 to $4,530. However, with this budget and the new rate reducing to minus 0.48%, you can see what your tax bill would be, and the annual difference, depending again on your assessed value of your property, could go down anywhere from $11 to $22. If for some reason this budget is defeated, the board has a couple options. One is they can go directly to a contingency budget, or they can put out the same budget or a revised budget for a second vote. After that second vote, the school district has no choice but to adopt a contingency budget. And what a contingency budget means is that the tax levy cannot be greater than the tax levied for the previous year. Due to the tax cap and the negative tax limit that Amherst has for the 16-17 budget, there seems to be an unintended consequence, and there would then be no tax reduction under a contingency budget. What is also included in a contingency budget is there is no use of buildings and grounds, no new equipment purchases, no student supplies, no non-essential maintenance, no capital expenditures except in the case of an emergency, and there is no change in salary for non-instructional, non-unionized employees. A couple of years ago, 14-15, the New York State governor required school districts to do a government efficiency plan. And this is part of the government efficiency plan. It's the next two slides actually, that shows how much Amherst has done in either shared services or efficiencies. The requirement was to demonstrate 1% savings equivalent to your tax levy. So for Amherst, it was about $330,000 at the time. And if you go to the next slide, it'll show that Amherst in total saved over $2 million. So we went far above what the requirement was in demonstrating the savings that Amherst has experienced. Some of the accomplishments that we're proud of is we have collaboration with local universities and colleges. We've had upgrades to our security systems. We continue to offer summer school opportunities. Our instructional technology includes upgrades to our infrastructure and hardware as well as software. We have ongoing curriculum writing and professional development. Capital work continues. Design of a new district webpage. We have our new district logo and identity kit, and we continue to pride ourselves on our student success. The Board of Education has 2 seats up for election. Lori Goldhawk and Dominic Vivolo are the 2 incumbents that are up for election. The vote is Tuesday, May 17th, 2016 from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at our high school south gym. We ask that folks come out to vote on the budget and the Board of Education candidates, and absentee ballots can be obtained from the district clerk. Thank you.